Hello, welcome to the second video in the Succeeding with OKRs in Agile series. This time we're going to look at bottom-up OKRs. A lot of people have an assumption with OKRs that OKRs are going to operate top-down. The people at the top of the organization will set the OKRs and they'll be pushed down to the organization. This probably originates with management by objective. Management by objective, or MBOs, was the management technique that OKRs grew out of. And in management by objective, it was very much a hierarchical planning process. The people at the top of the hierarchy, the CEO, the board, the senior managers, decided on the objectives for the organization and the objectives for the divisions and departments within the organization. And those objectives were passed from the senior leaders to the middle managers, and those middle managers pass them on to lower level managers or on to teams. In this way, the objectives were set at the top and they were cascaded down. Those at the lower levels of the organization had very little say in what the objectives were. Any of you with a bit of knowledge of Agile will probably have spotted that this is not a very Agile way of working. It doesn't allow for autonomy in the teams, it doesn't allow for the expertise and knowledge in the teams, it certainly doesn't allow for self-organizing and self-managing teams. Teams are given what they're expected to achieve and they are measured on how much of that they do achieve. Many people assume OKRs work this way. You could probably use OKRs this way, but in an Agile environment you don't want to do this. It's not Agile. In an Agile organization, you're more likely than not still going to have a CEO, you're still going to have a senior leadership team, a board and all of that. But their role changes. Their role is not so much about setting objectives and trying to enforce compliance with those objectives. Their role is about leadership. Their role is about painting the picture of a brighter future, a better organization. Their role is to describe the destination, to enthuse people to want to get to that destination, to want to achieve those shared goals, and to think as an organization, as one big team. So your leaders set out this beautiful vision of a place to go to, but they're surprisingly vague on the details, exactly what it looks like and how you're going to get there. That is left to the teams. So the leaders paint this vision and then they say to the teams, how can you as teams help? How can you help move this organization closer to that place we want to be in? And then, instead of having a middle management layer who are there to take the objectives from on high and force them down to those below them, middle management is really embedded in the team. The managers aren't there as an outside force. In Agile, they're much more likely to be team members. They're team members, sure, they may be first amongst equal, but primarily managers in an Agile environment are specialists in managing. The same way that Java programmers are specialists in Java and testers are specialists in testing. Managers are specialists in managing, organizing work, agreeing priorities, liaising with stakeholders, with other managers, with other teams, those type of issues. So it's the team, each team with their manager as a team member respond to that question of how can they help, and they look at what they can do, they look at the products they're building, the services they're offering, and they respond with some OKRs. Those teams set their OKRs to help them build towards this destination, this vision the senior team are painting. They fill in the details. In this model, the teams are responding to the leaders' request for help. They present their OKRs. This is not necessarily a one-off activity. They present the OKRs and the leaders can give feedback on those OKRs because we value feedback in Agile. The leaders can feedback on what they think about those OKRs, whether they are building towards the ultimate goal. Teams don't just consult with leaders, they consult with customers, they consult with other stakeholders, they consult with other teams, and they get all that feedback and they incorporate that into their OKRs. I prefer to think of organizations, especially Agile organizations, less as a hierarchy with a senior person at the top, and more like the solar system, where we have somebody at the centre of it. We have a leader at the centre of the solar system, and the teams are like planets that orbit the leaders. On those planets, the planets are very autonomous. The teams get to decide what they do. They have certain constraints placed on them by the organisation and the leader. The leader exerts some force, but it's a two-way conversation. The leader is consulting with those teams, with those planets, and those teams are talking to the leader, and those teams are talking amongst themselves. So I prefer to think of it as a circular system. So the central message here is that in an agile environment, OKRs should be going up the hierarchy, not down the hierarchy. They should be flowing into the centre rather than out from the centre. The leader's role is to paint the picture, inspire people, and then ask the teams how they can help. I hope you found this video useful. I'm going to be making some more videos, so please subscribe to the channel, and please buy the book. There's a lot more to say about OKRs. Thank you.